Welcome back, survivors. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to Carnivores 2+. So last week, we just went to Fort Siskin, and we got our first Velociraptors, and a comment came in was it just last week, or was it the week before? No, it was just, actually, I should say, yeah, last week. I'm getting myself a little stumbled at the very start here, but it was just last week about the maps that are actually carried over from Carnivores 2 probably aren't changed, or are 100% the same as they were in Carnivores 2. It's just that I probably have a terrible memory, and I'm not exactly the smartest you probably watched from the videos I've done. So I thought maybe Fort Siskin looked a little more crisper or sharper than it was. Maybe it probably was just me blending and forgetting what was actually in the Carnivores 2 Fort Siskin. But regardless, I'm going to see what we're going to do today, because we do have some points to play around with. Like, we could... Well, I was going to say we could try for Spinosaurus on the ancient coast, but maybe what we'll do is... I feel like I should go back Delphius Hills, because I think I've only done a single hunt or so there. The ancient coast, I think I've done enough. We can move along from that. And if I want to go here... Oh, wow. I already have the sniper rifle. I really wanted it, but I think I'm going to go... I'll go for the rifle again. We'll take the double ammo. And looking at our roster... Maybe what we'll do... I mean, I could go for Raptors and then take the shotgun again, but that kind of limits us quite a bit. So maybe I'll just do... I mean, I could do something like that. It's not too bad. Gives us a nice amount of variety for what we'll be hunting. And then with the shotgun and the rifle, that gives us good options of both distance and up close. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. So everything looks all good there. We'll hop into a brand new hunt and see how we do. And hopefully my voice does not crack anymore. It sounds like I'm still going through puberty. But you can't get everything you ask for, can ya? Let's just hop in and see how we do. Okay, so we're all loaded in here now. I'll just start with the shotgun out just to get a little bit of our surroundings in, because you never know, carnivores can sometimes drop you in right on top of Allosauruses or Velociraptors or anything that basically wants to rip you apart and eat you. So having some self-defense ready isn't bad. Well, looks like we're in the clear here. Where actually are we on Delphius? Okay, we kind of gotten tucked right into the heart of the map in a way. And then it does... see, I would prefer to go to the north end, because we haven't really gone up that way. Nope. Oh, just a galley. Again, you gotta be careful with the alleys. They look... Oh, jeez. I was going to say, they look so much like the Velociraptors from a distance that you could actually get yourself startled by assuming. And apparently that one almost tried to go after us, too. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go up to the north. We spent a little bit of time, I believe, more towards the south end of the map last hunt we were to Delphius, so we'll go up north and see what we can do. But yeah, definitely a lot different than the Delphius... Actually, it's kind of funny. Delphius Hills reminds me more of, like, if you were to take one from Carnivores 2 here, and a map from Carnivores Dinosaur Hunt, the Delphius Hills, with all the pine trees and how, like, just it is, reminds me so much more of the Great Forest than actual Delphius Hills does in Dinosaur Hunt. Oh. Oh, wait, that's... Right, that's... Okay, gotta remember not to hold down the buttons in this game, because that's what gives you the little flash effect. Everything here is a toggle. Okay, I think it was just myself making all the noise walking. I thought I heard almost like something else coming or walking around too. But so far seems like it is pretty quiet and just us out and about. Until I get an area with a pretty nice line of sight, I think I'll just keep the shotgun ready in case. Because again, maps like this where there are so many hills and bumps and ups and downs, it's hard to tell how far away or how close anything is. Until you actually get visibility, you're not sure exactly what can be around you. Metrodon way out there. I know saying Dimorphodon from that, but there is... Yeah, there's picking up. And once we get into an area like this, we'll probably look trying... Oh yeah, we're going to try some calls from here, because, again, this is fairly good line of sight all around us. So start with our friendly Stegos. Apparently we don't got any friendly stegos in the neighborhood. Okay, I guess we'll go for... Oh, Gallimimus. Again, doesn't hurt to check to make sure. Let's try an Allosaurus then. No Allo. Okay. A little quiet for so far to start. What about a Chasmosaurus? I got one up here, but it definitely is it's a very strange call. I guess I really... Oh, I just spotted it. Or saw part of it. So probably want the rifle for this one. I think I'll probably be safe sticking to the rifle. At least for a little bit, because we didn't get an Allosaurus reply from the call I put out. But with the Chasmosaurus going off as it did, I think it might follow along the water. Oh, actually, hang on. I saw somebody else coming over the hill there. A Stego. Okay, now we're starting to get into the wildlife a little bit more. Just in case, because I don't know exactly how far the Chasmo went. You kind of panic down there. Okay, that is Galley. Panic down around here, and then oh yeah, the wind definitely gave us away for the Stego. God, there's part mountain goat in those little buggers, I swear. Okay, we'll start with the Chasmo, though. Because, again, the wind's going to keep giving us way to the Stegosaurus there. And it's probably going to... to be honest... Yeah, he's, like, in a really hard spot. If he'd stop moving, maybe I would try for the Stego from here. But he's just going to keep freaking out like that. Well, I think he's kind of stuck up where he is. Yeah, it sort of seems to be, doesn't he? Oh. Okay, well, he's kind of calmed down for now, so maybe we will be able to get the Stego from across the water here. I think that thumpin's just the Moz Chops up here. It is the Moz Chops, but... There we go. We also had the Chasmosaur to get right there. I had a feeling he was going to be somewhere along the water. Kind of seems like herbivores almost get themselves stuck in that area. Like, they'll go along the water line and almost follow it. They can't actually go in the water, so the AI is almost like a... I guess think of like a line-following robot. Apologies for knocking the mic there. How those basically work is they have a light, sort of light sensor where, as long as it detects the color of the line, it'll kind of go left, right, left, right, left, right. And as soon as the sensor kind of goes off of the line, it's okay, go the opposite way now, and that's why you kind of have that as a method it'll take. There are probably other ways to program, but that's the simplest I can really think of for like how the line following bots work. And so herbivores, what basically seems to happen is they keep wanting to go right into the water, but they can't, so they just kind of like shimmy along the edge of it all the way up until you basically have something that scares them from the water's kind of direction. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to set up to really demonstrate in game, but I think if you guys have played Carnivores at all, you might have recognized that yourselves too, where they seem to have that little skirting thing they do with the beaches and that. I was about to jump in the water, but then again, I'm starting to remember that most time, I shouldn't say most times, but there are some times where I go take a dip, and the game decides to take a complete dive and kind of crash or freeze on me. So I think I'll avoid going in the water if I can. We do at least have a bead on where the Stegosaurus is. So what I'll probably do is actually see about running over there. I think if I do that, I'll have a better chance of catching up to wherever it's run off to. And it might be sent off a little bit further than I hoped for because of the amount of shots I took while it was still in the area. I don't know if, like, it kind of compounds the amount of, how do I want to kind of put this? I don't know if it compounds the amount of, like, triggers to flee, I guess is a way I could word it. Like, if it gets scared by one shot, and then if it has, like, 4 it still hears all in the same vicinity, do they compound for a greater distance effect that keeps going? Or does it only keep after the last sort of trigger that scared it? Again, I wish my wording was better, but I think you guys are kind of getting the idea of what I'm trying to put across. At least I hope. Honestly, I never know. I'm learning I am actually terrible with words, and also when I try to type out sentences. That's something I gotta improve on at times. But as for up here... Well, let's try calling the stego just to see. Okay, sounds like he's going to be up this way. In truth, I could probably use even the rifle out right at the moment. But just because of, again, we never know how close we're going to be as we're climbing up these hills and that. Maybe the shotgun will be helpful just to keep ready. No. Actually, get ourselves up kind of high. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's... Oh, you know what? If I can get up on this one here... Which might be pretty tough, but it might be possible. Come on, we can Skyrim up this. That was kind of like... At least I thought I could, but maybe not. Okay, I'm not going to try too hard on this, because, again, it could be yeah, it looks like it's a losing battle. I was going to say, I like how Skyrim can be a bit of an adjective now, or no, adjective or verb? Verb. Yeah, verb. Verb's the one that's the action, basically. God, I'm giving all kinds of different lessons today, aren't I? But it's basically, I think, become a verb for two different methods. Like, the first Skyrimming is, like, you're on a horse and you're managing to get up stupidly to the sides of mountains and stuff like that. The other verb I could see Skyrim being is something just keeps re-releasing over and over and over and over and over without ever stopping. Ooh, that was a nice shot. So in this case, it was trying Skyrim up the mountain. Although, no, see, I think Skyrim, at this point, I almost have to say Skyrim is probably the most re-released game that might have ever existed. Although, if we do want to be technical, maybe Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter Reborn, and like that entire porting situation could be in that realm as well. Because there's what, was it Dinosaur Hunter HD, Dinosaur Hunter Reborn, and now Dinosaur Hunt. I actually wonder how many versions of just like that same game have been like released now. That'd be something to look up. It's a little bit, like, interesting to compare. But probably still Skyrim is the best bet, as, like, being the most re-released game in history so far to this point. Yeah, we gotten ourselves the stego down, and let me try calling around for anything else, because it actually took us in quite a different direction I was expecting. Or different direction than I was expecting. Now, the Chasmosaur calls, I don't know if it's just because it maintains the same tone for so long. It feels almost mechanical sounding to me. Like, when I circle back around to it, we'll hear him again. Truthfully... Was that? Okay, you know what? I'm going to chalk it up to that's the one we tranquilized. That's not actually another stego out here. Because it did seem like it came right in that direction. But yeah... The Chasmosaurus call, I don't know what it is, if it's just like, that tone stays so similar for so long, it just sounds more mechanical than actual, like some of these other ones. Again, nothing from the Allosaurus, so let's do the Chasmo call. Yeah, I think that's it, it hits that certain point where it continues that on for just a little longer than I feel it naturally should. And it's just such a perfect pitch to it. I don't know, to me it just kind of sounds a little mechanical when I do it. Oh! Dang, that actually went... Wait a minute, is this the rifle? Holy crap, that was with the right... I thought that was the shotgun. Dang! So I guess there was actually a stego in the area. I was not expecting to get that It's basically an adage that I've come to discover about myself. The more I actually try to do something, the more likely I'll fail at it. But the less I try, the better I do. Prime example is right there. I didn't even get a chance really to line the shot up, I just took it. And it was with the rifle to get the mortal zone. Whereas I can try lining up shots on anything else, and they can completely miss and just... I don't know what it is. I'm subconsciously good, but consciously terrible. That's basically the way I can put it to kind of get it across to you guys. The funny thing is, I know there are probably going to be some people who are going to, now that you mention it, yeah, you did this here, you did that there, but when you actually tried here, you fell flat on your face. I don't know what it is. I guess I have to shut off the part of my head that's actually trying to be conscious and actively trying. It's bizarre. Maybe it's almost like over-processing a task or something in a way. Oh, hello. Has that been there? I don't know if I remembered this area. Like, I'm pretty sure I remember a few areas that have, like, the stone wall there. I don't know. Oh, wait, yeah, I think this was here before. Although, I don't know, something about it looks a little different. I don't know if it's just texture updates to the stuff, so that way it looks more detailed, but... yeah, it's definitely different than what I remember, because I don't think it had that nice of detail on this spot. I do remember this spot existing, like there is this on the map for old Delpheus Hills. Or Carnivores 2 Delpheus Hills. But again, I don't think it was this detailed or the textures were quite like this. I feel like... and this might also be the area around the Delpheus Ghoul sightings, or where some of them happened. And yes, I actually do know a little bit about the... I shouldn't even say a little bit, because it's probably even smaller than a little bit, but I have heard about the Delpheus Ghoul and all the stuff regarding that. Oh, you can actually go in the little bunker. Yeah, it is. Bunker or barracks, actually. Right, so let me try for the Allosaurus just to get every animal from our roster. But yeah, if I remember right, it was... one of the sightings, supposedly, of it was around this sort of camp area here. Let me just try hopping and getting out of this area, though, because again, we're not going to be going ghoul hunting. Oh. Yeah, we're not going to go ghoul hunting, but I am going to try to get that Allosaurus if I can. And I think I remember this area's... yeah, so it's definitely... probably an identical loadout Carnivores 2, but maybe there are some changes, just like textures and that, to make it look a bit better. I don't know for certain. I know Bluefin Manta commented that it's 100% probably the same... oh, there we go. Although, truthfully, I don't actually know how I would get to him. Because I think he's on the other side of that ridge there. Bluefin Manta commented, though, that this is 100% the same sort of layout to Carnivores 2's Fort Siskin. I don't know, something... again, it must be my memories messing with me a bit. I thought Fort Siskin looked a bit different color-wise and stuff. Maybe, again, it is... I am thinking of different maps, and the memories are just kind of like meshing into each other. Now that I think about it, I'm not even sure how many actual Carnivores mod series I've done on the channel. Like, I can start listing off names, but I don't know the full tally at this point. I really should check that. Oh, there's our... oh, shoot. Of course I have... what did I tell you? When I actually try, I fail pretty miserably. There we go. Now, granted, that wasn't too hard, but I think... yeah, I don't think he would have been able to find us too easily. That's quite a little gap to try to get across for him. Or maybe not, because we just made that with no problem. Okay, I think he was the only allosaur in the area, though. Yeah, so there you are, snoozing away. Again, when I actually try, I fail miserably, but when I just inadvertently shoot and subconsciously just seem to be able to do it. Don't know what it is. But yeah, with that, I think we're actually good to head back to menu and see how we're doing. So that was a Chasmo, 2 Stegos, and the Allosaur. Okay, so we're back in the menu here, and again, I'm not sure what I'll do next week. We are slowly getting some more points, so I could try taking some other stuff out. I wonder. Okay, no, so I can't do the double barrel and the Spino yet. Although we're not that far off from it, just 12 points. So maybe I'll see if you guys have any requests, and if not, I'll just whip something up come start next week's video, and we'll go out on that. But thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Carnivores 2 Plus. There's the title screen. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to give us a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure to leave it all in the comments right down below too. And if you have any ideas for progression hunts where I have the points now, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to take requests through the series if I can. It's just that I know a lot of times I get requests for, like, at this point oh, go after, say, the Cerrado on Vengar with this and that, and I can't even afford the Cerrado, and actually, I can actually, wow, I'm surprised, but I can afford the Cerrado on stuff like that, but that's kind of, like, the thing, is to, if you've been watching the videos, kind of get the point total you see, and think of suggesting stuff that I can do for you quickly, or within the next video or two. I like to be very communicative to you guys, and also mindful and punctual with when requests come up to when you see next videos. That's one of the nice things about being a smaller channel right now, is I can actually be much more involved with you guys through comments and interaction than, say, I have a huge amount of comments flooding in if I'm larger. Again, it's not really to say I don't want to be a larger channel, because it'd be nice to grow and get into more stuff I want to do, but let's make use of what we have right now. Kind of play with the hand we're dealt in a way. But again, thank you guys so much, and until I catch you all in the next video, survivors, please remember, as always, to take care and stay alive.